the world of cricket and everything that's happening in it, a Times Network exclusive. In fact, Time Network's Karishma spoke to Simon Doull, one of the most credible cricket voices and former New Zealand cricketer, on a host of developments in the cricket world, including the ongoing Border-Gavaskar Test series in India. Now, Doull touched on a number of hot topics, including some of the controversies surrounding the Test series. Now, on the questions raised about the Nagpur pitch by a few in the Australian media and former cricketers, Doull said that every country uses home advantage and there's nothing new in it. In fact, he also spoke about the Jadeja ball tampering row and said that as per the video footage, there was nothing wrong that Jadeja did, but probably he could have avoided holding the ball in his hand while applying the ointment. Listen in.
Joining us is one of the most authentic voices on cricket, Mr. Simon Doull, who's also a former New Zealand cricketer, to talk to us more about ILT20 and the Border-Gavaskar Trophy back home. So thank you so much for speaking to us on the Times Network, firstly.
No problem.
So starting with the Border-Gavaskar Trophy, I'll go through the chronology. It all started with the home advantage that India was using, of course, a spin-friendly track in Nagpur. What do you make of, so much buzz around home advantage, because every country does that, but when India's doing it, it's news.
Yeah, look, I love it. I love it. We've been doing it for years in New Zealand. We've been producing pitches with that much grass on it. I have no issue with it. It is a test, and a test encompasses so many things to me. It's a test of your skill, first and foremost. And skill is not just about playing fast bowling. That's courage. Skill is about being able to play spin and play spin well. I don't mind if it spins on day one. I don't mind if it spins on morning number one of day number one, because that is home advantage. That's what it's all about. As long as it's not a surface that is already crumbling, but if there's no grass on it in some areas, I have no issue with it. So, look, sides complain, people complain, but more and more it's just social media. It's people on social media that find something to moan about and someone to blame someone about. So, look, I've got no issue with it. I enjoy watching it. I think it's a great thing to watch.
Now coming next to Ravindra Jadeja, I'm sure you've seen that incident where he was putting a pain relief ointment on his finger. That was also blown out of proportion by the Australian media also to an extent. What do you make of this? Was Australia trying hard to distract from quality cricket?
Look, I think certain people are. I don't think you can lump all the Australian media in with one. There's a few people, again, on social media who try and make it something that it's not. I've heard a few of the ex-Australian players come out and say, look, there's nothing in it. Absolutely zero in it. You're not going to do it blatantly in front of cameras. What have we got here? 27 cameras at every game, at least at the moment. So you're just not going to do anything stupid. So look, I think it was like a Voltaren or something, some sort of anti-flame ointment that he put on. He did it very openly in front of everybody. Look, he shouldn't have had the ball in his hand at the time. I think if he'd thrown the ball to someone else and then done it, that would have been a better look. But hey, there was nothing in it, I don't think.
Simon, a word on Virat Kohli. Is, of course, a fantastic cricketer. A little difficult for him in the Nagpur Test first innings, but what do you see for him in Border-Gavaskar? Because it's very important for India that he performs, because we are looking at playing the World Test Championship as well. Yeah, look,
we all know how Virat's, his stats don't lie. They are amazing. I think the form that he's shown in recent times in white ball cricket should hold him in good stead, leading through the rest of this Test series. He is going to become a big part of that World Test Championship, because England is not easy. We know that. And he generally plays the swinging ball relatively well. He hasn't had huge amounts of, poor performances in England. I think he's generally been pretty good. So it's something that he will work through this series. He's still good. He's still one of the best. So there's no issues around that. I think he'll be fine. He'll get at least 100, if not 2, through the series.
Last couple of questions, Simon. There's a lot of debate around KLRahul in India. He's not been in his best form recently in all formats, probably. How much does a player carry on experience versus performance?
I think when a team's doing well, it's fine. You can take a player for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games when a team's doing well and winning. And his record prior to this sort of gives him that leeway, I think. Look, the one thing about India is there is a backup and a backup and a backup and another backup. Yes. There's 4 or 5 guys ready to go again and take his place. And when you're leaving guys like Shubman Gill out of the side, that says something to how good the strength and depth is. So he will feel himself, I think, that he needs a performance and he needs runs. But I think the team will probably say, as long as we're winning, we're going to give you a bit of leeway.
Simon, talking about the ILT20, we are seeing multiple T20 leagues now, whether it's in South Africa, you have the IPL, PSL. What do you think it does for players who get multiple platforms to show their potential?
I think it's great. Look, all of these leagues around the world have their place, as long as they're not detracting too much from the international game. And I don't think at the moment that they're finding their way. But what it does do is it gives guys and girls now as well. I mean,
yes.
When we look at the women's IPL coming, yes. The Big Bash is huge. There's more and more women's tournaments coming up. So I think it's terrific that when we're talking about these tournaments, we need to start talking about the women's game as yes. well. So, look, I think it gives a lot of different people a great opportunity to play and shine on the big stage. And, one good innings in a tournament like this, a tournament like South Africa, all of a sudden you get an IPL contract and you're away laughing.
Well, Simon, thank you so much for your time and I appreciate you talking to us.
Thank you very much.